Although it's ideal to commit to a regular practice of mobility and flexibility for 15, 20, 30 minutes or more, sometimes it's not practical. But can you commit to 4 minutes a day? The reason I'm asking is over the next several weeks, I'm going to give you 2 stretches, each one that's done for 2 minutes, that I'm going to ask you to commit to on a daily practice. The stretches are going to work multiple areas of the body, so it's not just going to be one muscle group. You're going to feel multiple areas and multiple muscles stretching at the same time. So we're going to try to get a lot of bang for our buck, okay? The first 2 stretches that I'm going to show today are the Bretzel and the Bretzel 2.0. These stretches were developed by a team, a physical therapist and an athletic trainer who've been in our industry for quite some time. I've actually been trained by both of these guys, and they know their stuff for sure. And I like the stretches because, as I said, they do work multiple areas, but they also work from our focus on the center and then work out from the center. And I like that idea of always starting at the center and working out. So we're going to need a few things for the first stretch. You're going to need a pillow of some sort. A throw pillow works pretty well. A foam roller, a short one or a long one, it doesn't matter, or a yoga block if you don't have a foam roller. Okay? You'll also need a timer. The timer will help you know that you're only doing a minute per side per stretch, and it'll also keep me honest about keeping to my commitment to you for a minute per stretch. Okay, so I'm going to get my timer set, ready to go, and we're going to start by putting the right side down first. So I'm here on the ground. My bottom leg, my hip and my knee are in a line, and I'm going to flip this leg up so you can see how I'm grabbing my foot. I'm going to grab my foot with either my hands at the toe, the shoelace, or the ankle, with whichever amount of mobility it allows for me to grab a little bit higher up the chain. If you notice, it's my bottom leg, in this instance my right leg, and I'm grabbing it with my left arm, and that's going to be underneath. The top leg is going to be bent up so that my hip is in at least 90 degrees of flexion, and my knee is also at 90 degrees. I'm going to use the foam roller underneath the knee to prop that up, okay? When I come down onto the ground, I'm going to eventually come down onto my side. I want the knee and the hip to be fairly parallel to the ground. So if I have my knee propped up, that prevents my knee from rolling all the way down and rolling my hip over. So I'm going to come down onto the ground. Before I get there, I want to make sure I can reach my timer. And I also want to make sure that I can get to that ankle or foot, whatever I can grab at the bottom. So if you're having a tough time, by the way, grabbing the bottom leg, you can use a towel or a strap to assist that reach. All right. So I have my timer, I'm all set, I'm ready to go. I'm going to get it going, and I'm going to start it. When I start, I'm going to grab my foot at the bottom, I'm going to grab the knee at the top, and I'm going to bring my head down. Rotating my head and my upper back away from the top leg, I'm going to start to sense a stretch. At that moment, I'll hold that for a few seconds, and then inhale. On the exhalation, I'm going to try to rotate further. Rotate my head away from the top leg, as well as my shoulder blade toward the floor, away from the top leg. Once I reach a limit, I'm going to stop for a few seconds, then inhale, exhale. Each time rotating my head away and trying to bring that top shoulder blade closer and closer to the floor. There's my minute. So I'm going to stop the timer, and I'm going to get ready for the other side. On the other side, I'll show you how to use the yoga block. You only have a yoga block available. And I'm going to come around here. So we're just flipping things over, literally flipping things over. I'm going to bring my bottom leg underneath me, bringing that thigh back. I'm going to reach up and grab either the foot, ankle, or shoelaces, whichever I can reach. I'm going to have my timer nearby to grab. Putting my top knee on the yoga block. I can even have it, I can have it oriented this way if I wish, or oriented this way, whichever works best for me. I think this probably works best to have my thigh supported. Okay. Remember, I want to still be able to grab back here. So my left thigh is a little stiffer, so it's a little harder on the grab or a little harder on the reach, but I want to make sure that's part of the equation and I can get that bottom foot. That's sort of the first order of business. Then I'm going to bring this knee up. This hand, once I get going, will go onto this knee. I'll grab here, set my head down, but before I do that, we're going to start the timer. Okay, timer is running. So I'm going to grab that foot. I'm going to come on down. Head in neutral, neck in neutral. So again, inhalation. On the exhalation, I'm pulling that bottom leg. I'm rotating my head away from the top leg, bringing my top shoulder blade to the floor. Holding the maximum stretch I could gain for a few seconds. Then inhaling again. On the exhalation, trying to rotate the head away and really focus on getting the shoulder blade down to the floor, maximizing as much twist in the upper back as I can get. I'm going to do that one more time. Inhale, exhale, and rotate. And hold that stretch. Feels good. Taking a couple extra seconds, and then I'm going to come out of it. Okay, so that's the Bretzel, the original. The next one is the Bretzel 2.0. It's similar, works similar areas, but it does it from a different position. And this second one does a little bit more work on trying to get the rotation. Okay? For this one, you actually don't need any extra things at all, just the floor. All right? I'm going to set up my bottom leg, okay, in 90 degrees, and my top leg also in 90 degrees. So you've seen this position with me before, the 90-90 position. Okay, one leg's 90-90 and 90-90 at the hip and knee. Before I start my timer on this one, I want to try to turn and rotate, maximizing the stretch around the top or front hip, right? My hands are going to be on the ground in front. Back up a little bit, guys, so you can see me in full. My hands are going to be in front of that chin, working to square my hips and square my shoulders as best as I can to start. For some of you, this may be ample. You may feel a really good stretch around your hip, or you may feel a stretch coming around on these ribs. If that's what you have, great. If you have a little bit more to this one, I'm going to request that you try to turn more toward the knee. You're just going to basically take your upper body and turn it a little bit more towards that top knee, and that may start to get you a little bit more stretch around the hip, and again a little bit more reach here. Once you've gotten as far as you can go, we're going to actually get the stretch started. I'm going to take the hand that's coming across, and I'm going to turn the palm up. If you're a student of yoga, you know this sort of that thread the needle idea. So you're going to come around and thread the needle, okay, here. Before you put your opposite hand on top, you're going to start your timer. Top hand's here, and now this may be a very good stretch, or you may have a little bit more. If you do, you're going to bend that hand that's flipped up. You're going to try to bend that elbow towards the ground. As you come towards the ground, you're going to feel a little bit more twist, and again, you should feel it in the upper body. You can come back up out of that twist for a little bit, and then see if you can, again, gain a little bit more. So this idea is more sort of an undo, and then go a little further. So you're coming out of it just enough to sort of inhale, and then on that exhalation, bring the elbow down. And maybe at the very bottom, you want to hold that for the last 10 seconds or so. Very good stretch. Trying to avoid any excessive bending of the top arm. Okay, so there's my stretch for that. Come back up. Okay, so that's one side. We'll just do it again on the other side. We'll go through the movement pattern again. So I'm going to bend that top knee at 90 degrees, the top hip at 90 degrees, the back knee 90 degrees, and the back hip at 90 degrees. Bring my timer over to the opposite side. My left hip happens to be quite a bit stiffer, so you may see that my motion is a little bit more limited, and it would be very reasonable that you'll sense the same thing at home, which you'll find that one side is more mobile than the other side. So I'm going to go through again the preset where I wrap myself around this front hip by rotating toward that leg. I'm going to think about staying very elongated in my body and bringing my chest forward. Again, continuing to wrap that hip up and locking that hip up a little bit into a full stretch around the hip musculature. I'm going to have my hands out in front of me. If I have a little bit more ability to turn toward that knee, I'm going to take it. That's about it. That's all I have here. And again, thread the needle with that arm that's coming across, the trailing arm that's coming across. I'm going to come across and flip that hand up. Before I start my timer, I want to make sure that I'm keeping this arm fairly straight to start, and I really feel that I'm near maximum of my twist at the moment. Get the timer in place. I'm going to get that going. My free hand is going to go on top. That's just going to sort of lock that down in position, and then I'm going to inhale, and on the exhalation, I'm going to start to bring that arm that's coming around and bend that elbow, trying to increase the twist of my upper body. I'm going to come out of it a little bit, and then can I go a little further? Trying to keep the opposite arm, the palm down arm, trying to keep that elbow fairly straight. So I'm really just trying to bend one hinge, okay, the thread the needle arm. I'm going to come back up, and again, wrap around as much as I can. Got about 10 seconds left, so I'm going to hold this and just try to breathe. And that's it. So, 2 stretches, 1 minute per side, just a 4-minute commitment. Now, I think you'll find that when you start doing this, you'll actually want to stay there a little bit longer than a minute. And 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, up to 3 minutes per side would be wonderful. I'm just asking for the 4-minute per day commitment, but if you want to take more time, that would be great. Again, work to do this daily. Whatever time of the day works best for you. Morning, evening, as you can see, it's the afternoon. I've already taken my contact lenses out, I'm kind of relaxed. I finished my workout, I'm a little tired, so this is a good time for me. But find that 4 minutes that works for you and get her done. Okay, I'll see you next week with 2 new stretches.